We back at it again. The team is in, loading in. Today we are going over getting ready for that Wall Street money, selling to the hedge funds. This is episode 2, and we're ready to rock in. We got some of the team here. We have the amazing Ashley on the acquisition ones and twos. She's been doing the dang on thing. Love it, love it. Glad you're here. We got Miss Anastasia, the great, taking and holding down all land lot deals. What'd you say? Hello, hello. Welcome. And of course, I go by the name of Eddie Charger, aka Mama. There goes that man. But nonetheless, we got the great, the amazing, the magnificent. Okay, been doing it since '88. You know what I mean? No, we got the amazing Kendall in here with us, getting ready to teach us the game and walk us through step by step. This is just episode 2, right? This is just the second time that we got together. We got the course. All right. We been studying, been learning, gone through everything. And now we are at the stage where it's about implementation. So week by week, we go through the steps and what's been able to implement. This is live, okay? So my team has experience, but they have never done real estate like this. Have you guys? Have you guys, like, the stuff that we're learning and going through now? Is it pretty much new to you guys?
Yes, very new.
Awesome. Good. So the reason why we're doing this is because we want to make sure more people win. We want to showcase to you how easy it no sorry how simple it is, right? That had the conversations with Kendall, and he let me know, like, listen, man, this ain't what people want it to be, but is it worth it? Is the question, right? And we definitely think that it's worth it. Believe in Kendall and what he's doing for our community, holding it down, building something amazing here in Atlanta. Super proud to be part of it. So without any further ado, my guy, K Dot, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you doing?
Man, we ready, bro. We ready. Team's been hitting me up crazy, like, yo, what's up? I was like, he out of town. He like, all right,
Like when we getting
you know what I'm saying? They was like, he don't got Skype where he at? I'm like, no, y'all, listen, No, but definitely glad we
super excited
you
to
here.
get back active with y'all. Let me see. I got this going live right now on the Facebook group, so everybody can
Perfect.
tag along with us.
Perfect. And listen, this is we do this today, but we still doing our normal scheduled Friday at 2 p.m.
Yeah. We're gonna tap back in on Friday since
Yeah.
we a little delayed from last week in our session in, so we're gonna do 2 this week.
Yep.
To be able to kind of make up for that.
Going good. So before we jump in, I really want to make sure I just show some love again. Um, if you're not following K Dot, please go follow him. The man puts out way too much information for free. And that's from me. Like, I got numbers. I put out information, okay? K Dot puts out way too much information for free. Please make sure you go do that. And if you want to get caught up and get up to speed so you can move the way we move it, you definitely want to link in with him with the wholesale, the hedge funds program that he has, website and everything is there. And I don't get paid for this, y'all. Like, this, I got no affiliate link or code. Maybe we should probably talk about that. Nah, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, we do this for the goodness of the heart. And I want to send business over to K Dot because I know what he's about, and he really wants to see people win. And there is a crazy amount of windfall that is about to take place with this Wall Street money. All right, that hedge fund money gonna hit heavy and it's gonna slap hard. So
They coming in strong in 2023.
yeah. Listen, it ain't called the Jordan year for nothing. All right, the movement that they're about to do literally can change the nation. Because they already were large players in the multifamily in the space of single family. They already were in commercial and multifamily. Now they're in single family, And if what they're getting ready to do come end of Q1, Q2, Q3, and moving on, probably for the next 18 months or so, if they're able to do that, there's going to be a large percent of our nation that is by default going to be renting. It's going to turn fully into a renter's nation, and there's not much you can do about
it. And you got to think too. A lot of people like nowadays. I know a lot of people have this thing where it's like, the hedge funds, they coming in, they buying up all the properties, taking away home ownership, et cetera, et cetera. But what people are failing to realize is that for a while now, a lot of people are preferring to rent over buy.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you talk, I think they talk about like the millennials and stuff like that, how a lot of them are choosing to rent over buy just to have that flexibility and not be locked in a specific space. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually, I want to do I don't know if I want to make it like a live virtual event or in person or something, but I want to talk about the gentrification piece, or that, like what we just talked about, like the topic of, hedge funds coming in, buying up all the properties and renting them out and taking away, in quotes, ownership from people. But I want to bring some people on who have like differences of opinion on that and have some type of panel or something like that, kind of discussing those things, because I think it'd be dope, like just to know, just to have the conversation, because I think there are multiple viewpoints that aren't spoken about when it comes to that. It's a lot of times just one viewpoint being pushed and not the other side. You know what I'm saying? So I want to have some type of like conversation and dialogue behind that.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be dope. That'd be a really good debate to have some of the playmakers involved and everybody take a listen, because it's honestly it's just a shift, right? And just like anything else, you can either get on board with the shift or you can not like it, right? But there were people that hated the fact that Henry Ford was trying to do away with horses, right? And maybe they still own a horse to this day. But that ain't stop what was happening. So it's about positioning yourself and knowing, I think the only way you lose, whether we're talking about, the new change that's happening in the nation as far as renters versus owning, which I still think you should own property, but I also think you should rent where you live, but that's a different concept. Or if you're talking about, what's going to take place as far as, or continue to take place as far as justification, I think the important thing is, are you talking about it or are you part of it? Because if you're part of it, you can make change. And the change that we're here to talk about today over this next hour is how to be able to position ourselves in the way of all this money that, again, kudos to K-Dot, man, because he really could have just kept quiet and just been counting his money to the bank. You know what I mean? Just every hedge fund, hey, you know what I mean? Just quiet, just like, yo, where you at? You know. They'd be like, yo, how's business? Well, yeah, it's all right, But yeah, man,
I think it's important, man. This is, once again, the whole thing when it comes to real estate investing as a whole. We're not talking about like being a wholesaler. The thing when it comes to real estate investing as a whole is having multiple tools in your toolbox to be able to take advantage of opportunities that come across, right? So when you get a retail house that come across, being able to have real estate agent contacts that you can maybe send that lead to on the back end, or sell that deal to their client and do a type of novation deal or a retail buyer deal, something like that, right? Being able to do subject to deals is very important. It's part of your toolbox. You know what I'm saying? Like when the seller comes in and they're upside down, can you do a short sale? You see what I'm saying? And hedge funds is just another strategy to use in your toolbox when you're dealing with a property that doesn't really fit the bill for a local buyer based off the price. But if you can offer the seller a little bit more, you can get that deal closed and still make money selling it to a hedge fund, right? So back before, when we're talking about maybe 2019, not even 2019, really when prices shot up, like 2021, early 2022, right? When those prices were shooting up, you can buy high and then sell high. You see what I'm saying? And hedge funds will buy over retail. So a lot of people got to the mindset that a hedge fund is a company that just pays over retail, when that's not the case, right? Hedge funds were just paying a high like everybody else was. It wasn't just the funds paying a high, owner occupants offering $50K over ask price just to get a deal done, right? Things like that. So you can't don't think of a hedge fund as just somebody that's going to pay retail price, because that's not the case, right? But a hedge fund is somebody who requires a lower gross yield on their investment, which allows them to pay a little bit more in cash than a local investor would be able to pay.
Exactly.
It's not that in this season we're paying like let's say the house is worth 300. A hedge fund is not coming in and paying you 290. That's just not the season that we're in.
Yeah.
But if a local buyer is paying 215, you might can get a hedge fund that's paying 230, 235, 240. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's the difference in basically having this strategy, adding an extra 6 figures to your bottom line throughout the course of the year. Being able to have that in your pocket. And that's what I'm here to teach people how to do, is to have that in their pocket and do it the right way, because these are corporations and businesses, and we want to make sure that they like to do business with corporations as ourselves or small businesses like ourselves when it comes to wholesale real estate.
Yep. Well, let's get it, man. I'll let you take it away. The team is here. They ready. Got plenty of things to say and questions to answer for you. So let's get this thing popping.
All right, cool. Let me go ahead and show screen. All right. So first thing I want to do is, let's see. I got that shit on there. All right. So first thing I want to do is I kind of want to just do some recapping about the things that you guys have picked up over the past week and a half, I think, since we had our last session. I want to get into some questions that you guys have. We're going to start off there and just kind of give me some feedback on what you've learned. I know I told you guys before, let's start going out and finding a couple funds and situations. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you guys ran into, any obstacles you came across, etc. And let's go from there.
Perfect. You guys free to unmute. I don't know if you can or not.
Yeah, I think you're actually trying to unmute. Let me, you got it?
Yes, got it. We were reaching out this last week to some hedge funds, and one of the like emails I got back, or just like in calling in general, we'll start with that. Like when I called, just maybe like one in particular was like, oh, we don't actually have anybody like directly for you to talk to. We need to take your information down. They'll reach back out to you. Is that common?
Yes. So remember we was kind of going over the script, right? And if you get them to say, matter of fact, let me pull up the script. Like when they start coming to you and they start saying like, hey, we don't really have a phone number, but give me your information and I'll reach out to you. That's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm gonna show you exactly what it is and what you're supposed to do in that situation.
Okay.
There, you definitely want to give them your information first off. So you don't want to not give them your info. So you still want to give them your information, but there's another step to go with this as well. Let's see, let's get this pulled up right here. So let's go into module, let's see. All right. I think this is in the Finding Hedge Funds module. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So hedge fund script. All right. Then we're going to go to the hedge fund script. All right. Open that up. Okay, cool. So when you get on the phone with the hedge fund, and go ahead and pull it up so that you can see it as well, what I'm looking at.
I have it up.
Okay, cool. All right. Sure. We can load up. Okay, cool. All right. So when you get to the call, a receptionist answers the phone. You say, "Hey, this is Ashley from Blacktop. How's your day going?" Etc. If they ask to transfer you to another department and give you another number, you still want to ask them for an email address. Now, what happens is that when you get to this point and they ask you for your email address, you want to say, "Okay, great. Can I also have an email I can use to reach out to them just in case I encounter any problems in getting them on the line?" right? So if they ask you for yours, you want to combat that by asking them for an email address as well. Now, if they don't give it to you, then what you want to say is, okay, I understand that. Do you guys happen to have a on-market or real estate agent or brokerage or somebody that I can speak to about selling a property that I have? When you had that conversation with them, how far did you get in the initial point? Like when you were speaking to them, how far did you get in that conversation? Did it end when they said, give me an email, or like what else did they say in that conversation?
So when I called, I went over the whole like script one. I did that whole thing, and she was very nice about it. And she was just saying that she appreciates me calling in, like in the tensions that I had, and that she said that I don't actually have somebody that you can contact directly, because she couldn't even transfer me to anybody. So she didn't have anybody for me. So maybe I didn't even call like the right person, but I'm not gonna stop right there. Let me pull it up here.
Was it like a property management company, or was it like a company itself? And who did you call too? That's important.
Hudson Homes is the one that I'm talking about specifically. I talked to a lady named Alexa, and she was very sweet. She was letting me know the way to get in touch with like their acquisitions team is for her to take my information down, and then she would give it all over to them. Now this was on Friday when I reached out to them. This one in particular. And I haven't heard anything back yet. She did say 24 to 48 hours, and with it being Friday, I wasn't expecting something right back right away. So I'm still waiting, but I just was wondering if that's common for them to say, like, we don't have anybody to transfer you to directly, but I will take your information down and you'll hear back from them.
That is common. There are hedge funds that there's a little bit more digging that needs to be done in order to actually get to them. And sometimes they won't give you a contact for somebody. But what I will say is that the number that you called is probably the property management company of Hudson Homes, right? What I would say, when you approach them in the script, you said, can you put me in touch with somebody from your acquisition department, right?
Right.
Okay, how I would adjust that conversation is, hey, I was reaching out to see, do you guys, are you guys buying properties as well? And do you have somebody I can talk to about selling my house to?
Yeah, okay.
So when you approach it from that way, and you kind of change the verbiage, it kind of triggers something that might say, oh yeah, I can put you in touch with somebody who you can reach out to, or what's the address of the property, I'll send it over to you there, right? You know, things like that. You can do those type of things. Now, let's just say that you do this and they ask you for a property address, okay? One of the things that I would say is when you're reaching out to them, you want to have the ability to provide some type of deal if necessary. So JV, being in the JV, reaching out to one of your contacts and saying, hey, you guys have a property available that you're looking to sell, right? Can I take this and maybe pass this along to a couple of my buyers? Things like that, right? And how you get around sending the hedge fund something quality is just make sure it's a newer built home. Okay, and on this session, we're going to talk about underwriting so that you'll be able to underwrite the deal that you're getting from that person to make sure you don't look crazy in front of the hedge fund, right? Okay. But the biggest thing is all in the variation in how you ask, because sometimes when you ask to speak to the acquisition department or be put in touch, most times it's kind of like a filtering thing. You kind of leave it up to them filtering you out and deciding when they want to reach out to you. But when I'm coming with something of value, like an actual property for sale, it kind of increases the urgency in getting back and reaching back out to you, right? Yep. And the benefit is that if you guys are doing that, like we can give you a property to be able to reach out to them with, right? So we have a property right now in Decatur. You can use this house and take this address down. You can use this house as a deal to send to them and tell them like, hey, I'm looking to sell one of my properties. Can you reach back out to me, right? So the address to this property is 3824 Riverside Parkway in Decatur, Georgia. 30034 zip code.
So this is a deal that you guys currently have under contract, and therefore you guys legally have the ability to be able to keep it or to assign it to somebody else. I want to make sure we're clear because I don't want no bozos to be like, oh, I'm about to call and steal this lead. Like, nah, fam, we way more equipped than that.
And we got a lien on it too. So.
Oh, so there you go. Go try. Go try.
We do a nice little affidavit of equitable interest. Keep keep our interest secured, file that with the county, and then we straight. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have no issues.
And then here's the other thing too, because this is something that comes up a lot when we're doing these lives and Zooms and stuff like that. Listen, we're professionals, right? We don't just play around in this. We actually do this, and so we are very good at building relationships. I am positive you can go with a higher offer, and whoever that owner is will turn you down because they've built a relationship with K-Dot and his team, and that's what's going to make the house sell, right? That's who they believe in to get the job done. So bless and believe, like this, the same way that we're talking about building a relationship with the brokers. When you get these deals under contract with the seller, you want to make sure that you've built a relationship with the seller as well, so that you can be able to get the deal done because they believe and trust that that's what you're going to do.
Definitely, and I definitely suggest if you feeling kind of funny about the seller or during your acquisition process, and you feeling a little shaky about their honorability when it comes to sticking to the contract, at that point I would definitely recommend filing one of those affidavits. Eddie, I don't know if you got any of those, but if y'all need one of them, and I can break it down for you on how to file it electronically, you know what I'm saying? I can give you that and show you guys that as well.
That'd be dope. I think that'd be really beneficial, especially for everybody that's listening and watching the different sources, to be able to know, like, hey, here's how you protect yourself. Make sure it deals with
$25. You know what I'm saying? So it's a couple things that you want to make sure that you take into consideration before you file it, just ethically, right? So for instance, I wouldn't file a lien on a house that I can't move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just don't make sense, right? I'm not gonna file a lien on a house that I had. Like, let's say if we get a deal and we lock it up, and I think that we locked it up for too high, I don't file a lien on that house, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like it doesn't make sense to file a lien on something where you can't close it,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you get to the point where that seller's acting crazy and you can't even figure out if you can close it or not, you definitely want to go ahead and do that.
Huh.
All right, cool. So, yeah, that was a great question too, Ashley, as far as that situation is concerned. A lot of it is just about your language and what you say to them when you call. But take that property right there, and we got it for $243,500. We actually just started putting it out just today, I think, or Friday. So our disposition price on that, I think we're moving it for $269 right now. Is our dispo price. So when you send it to them, just send it to them for $269K. When you send it over to them, the property, and what I'll do is, let me see. I'm gonna have Grand send you guys the actual details, the written details of it, so that you guys can have that. It's a 2007 build, 4-bed, 2.5 bath.
Hey, Ashley, put your email, your blacktopHomebuyers.net email in the chat, and you as well, Anastasia, so that way you guys can get locked in on the same.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and send you the link for the Zoom so that you can get in here in a second, all right? So that you can get on here and get your questions answered as well. Okay, so any other questions or things that you guys found as you were reaching out to the funds, making those calls? First off, how many did you guys end up reaching out to?
Ooh, I have that right here. There were.
Now, while she's looking that up, I want you guys to pay attention, right? He asked the question and she immediately knew the answer. Why is that? It's because our team is doing an amazing job of tracking everything that they do. So they have a list of how many that they went after. They have a list of who got in contact, who didn't. You need to track, because if you don't track, then you will 1,000% fail.
14 of them.
Oh, wow, that's good. That's solid. Okay, so out of those 14 that you reached out to, where did you get the furthest on getting some type of, did any of them give you contact information? Let's start there.
Yes. I didn't get far enough to talk to somebody like on the phone and like have a really good conversation. That was like my goal, was I really wanted to have a conversation with somebody on the phone. So I sent a lot of emails.
Okay.
I did receive some emails back. One of the ones that I had a question I was just going to read you directly like what the email says and just kind of get like a little insight back on this one. They said, thanks, Ashley. We appreciate the opportunity, but at this time we are well supplied with leads from our current preferred broker network for both on and off market homes. I have saved your information in the event we are in need of your services in the future. All the best.
Okay. Who was that? Which one was that?
Invitation Homes.
Okay. This is good. So they said that they were already supplied. They're getting enough supply from their preferred brokers for on market and off market.
Correct.
The next step is to find who are the brokers.
Okay.
Because what happens is that what they're telling you is that you can't go direct to me to sell me a deal. But what they're saying in between the lines, but not really saying, is if you knew who, that's how I hear it. They'll take a deal from them. So if I can get to them and bring them a deal that they can get to you, we can make something shake, right? So this is where you can start doing this is where it's gonna be some intense kind of research on this part right here. What you'll do is, you can go to, let's see, you can go to PropStream or Zillow. Use these realtor.com, use these websites, and what you want to do is you want to find some recently purchased houses from Invitation Homes, preferably on market purchased.
Okay.
So they bought it off the MLS, right? When you find out where they bought it from off the MLS, then you get in touch with the buyer's agent who represented them on the back end. And that's your end.
Work it backwards, yeah.
Backwards, you see what I'm saying? And that's your end. So when you have to do it that way with certain hedge funds, of course, when you're dispositioning those deals, you got to start taking into consideration that 3% or that 2.5%, whatever you negotiate. But that's cool, right? I mean, we had to do that with Tiber Capital. Tiber Capital used to charge us 3%. We sold them a deal. Sylvan Homes charged 3%. And sometimes you can even negotiate that percentage based upon how hungry that acquisition person is, or that real estate agent is, or that broker who represents that fund, and how much volume they want to do, right? So what I do is, when you find out who that particular broker or that agent is that represented them, when you reach out, you got to reach out with something, right? So that's where you come with this deal right here, Riverside Parkway over in Decatur, 2007 bill. You use that, it's a newer house, and you bring that value to them, and you say, hey, I'm looking to disposition the deal. I see that you represented a corporation recently on whatever property this is. Do you think they would be interested in this house as well?
Love it. Okay.
Perfect, perfect. So what other type of responses did you get when you were sending out your emails?
The other one I received back was from Divvy, and I was talking to Eddie about this, and I think it just might not have been in contact with the correct person. It says, at Divvy, we only purchase homes viewed and selected by fully approved Divvy customers and do not maintain a portfolio of vacant homes waiting for a buyer. Divvy customers are welcome to shop from the homes that meets their budget and our requirements.
Yes, so we learned this probably about, what was this, last year? This might have been 2021. We sold a house to Divvy. Now, Divvy is different. I thought Divvy was like a pure regular hedge fund. They buy a lot, but they're not a standard fund. Divvy is like Home Partners of America, where what they do is real estate agents use Divvy. All right, so you know the advertisements where realtors would say, compete with the cash buyers and make a cash offer on a home, right? And that's that type of program with Divvy. So what they do is real estate agents go to Divvy and say, hey, my client wants to purchase this home. And Divvy will then come in and they'll make an offer on behalf, and they'll make an offer to actually buy the house from you cash. And what they do is they let the person who wants to own it rent from them as like a rent to own type of thing, or like until they get in position to actually purchase the house, right? So that they can actually compete with the cash offers in the market. So that's what Divvy's model is. To sell stuff to Divvy, you really have to have a real estate agent that's looking for that home, right? So the house we sold to Divvy, we actually listed it on the MLS. We actually ended up closing it into like a hotel and listed it on the MLS. And then that actual client came and purchased the property from us using Divvy. So they're like a different type of type of fund in a sense. Like, I wouldn't really necessarily call them a hedge fund, even though they have all the makings of a hedge fund, right?
Okay.
They don't hold a portfolio, but they do have a lot of cash to purchase cash on houses, but they just have a specific model with how they do business.
Right. That makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Everybody else, I'm waiting for a response back. I did split these with Stacy. She's out here to go over like what responses she had, but everybody else that I touched base with, I'm still waiting for a response back.
Okay, cool. Now, my follow-up question to that is the emails that you got that you sent out, were those to acquisition departments or to another party that you're gonna have to go through to get to acquisitions?
Some were straight acquisitions department, some were like operations. I pull up here. So I have acquisitions, offers at homepartners.com was another email I got.
Okay, so Home Partners is similar to Divvy, same type of thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make note of that. Yeah, everything else was like acquisitions department.
Okay, perfect. Now, when you emailed them, give me an example of your introduction.
So I took from the script.
Perfect.
So my email that I sent out, let me open it up so I can read one. Going back and forth between my web pages, sorry. Like this one, put good afternoon. My name is Ashley with Blacktop Home Buyers, and I'm looking to get in touch with the acquisitions department for off-market properties. We have 3 to 5 off-market properties available on a weekly basis that I would like to consider moving to your portfolio. And then I put, do you have buying criteria I could review to make sure I'll be sending you deals that fit your buy box? And put, thank you, Ashley.
Perfect. Now, for those 5 that you email or whatever's left over that you sent that, you sent those on Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday and before, let's see, yeah.
Okay.
This one was on the 5th, they responded back, that was Divvy.
Okay. What I want to do is I want you to do a follow-up email.
Okay.
Tomorrow, because it's 4:30 now. Tomorrow morning, right between that 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern time. And that follow-up email is going to be that Decatur deal.
Okay.
Okay? You're going to send that to them and say, hey, I reached out to you yesterday or, a couple days ago, whatever. Just wanted to see if you all are looking, would you all be interested in purchasing this property that we have available? Now, the key here is going to be what you put in the subject lines. I found when dealing with hedge funds, the subject is what grabs the attention to get the response. What was your subject line when you said that?
I was gonna ask you, actually, that was my next question. What do you put in subject? So my subject line when I sent these emails, I put off-market properties.
Okay, so here's what I would say. This is perfect for the follow-up email. In the follow-up email, you want to go ahead and put in the subject, and this is all cap subject, 2007 build SFR for sale under $275,000.
Okay. All caps.
All caps. Right? Once you do that in the subject, when they see that, if they're looking for property to acquire, when they see that, they're going to open it, right? And they're going to want to know what you got going on right here, right? Once you send that email in the introduction of the email, before you get to the property details, that's when you get into, if you got a name for the person who you email on the acquisition department, hey, how you doing? I emailed you the other day about having some off-market deals. Just wanted to see, would this be something you all would be interested in purchasing? It is available for sale now. Details below, right?
Okay.
And then that's how you start that. That's how you start that off. A benefit would be, so once you do that, there's another piece to this. Once you do that, throughout the next 2 or 3 days, you want to be on the hunt looking for a couple other, maybe 1 or 2 additional JV opportunities, or if y'all have leads, which we'll go over today as well, we start evaluating, you might have leads that kind of fit the bill. When you're doing that, then what you want to do is you want to follow up with them when it comes time for like Thursday. with another one.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because then it's like, oh, okay, I'm seeing consistency here, I'm seeing volume here, right? After you send that one, this would be the plan. Send that one tomorrow between 9 and 10 a.m. Let's try to get another one. If we end up having another one for you, which we do have one, but I don't want you to send that one yet because I don't like the numbers on it. You want the first one you send to be the right way, right? The right numbers, right? Everything is looking good. So if we get another one that fits the bill, we'll get that to you as well on Friday to keep looking. And then, Thursday. You want to send it on Thursday for that second property. And then Friday is going to be a follow-up email where it says, hey, just touching bases to see if you had a chance to look at these couple deals I sent you over. If this doesn't work for you, I'd love to hop on the call and discuss what will work for you.
Okay.
Right? And that's your process for the next 4 or 5 days, doing that with each one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, cool. Now let me send Grand. Let me just make a note to send him a message so I don't forget. All right. I don't even know if Grand is on here. Grand, if you're on here, drop a comment on here from me.
So while he's doing that, I want to ask the team, for those that are watching and just getting started on this journey as well, what was some of the things you were kind of like going through? Like when you're making the phone calls, when you're doing the research, like what's your mindset like? Were you scared, or were you like, this is way too hard? Or, did the course help you because you kind of had that teaching thing going on? Or like, how was the whole experience? Because and I'll tell you why I'm asking the question in a second.
At first, I was nervous because I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to mess this up. Like, these are big time players. All this stuff was just kind of like going through my head. But then I had to like take a step back, and these are people, and they're people that I want to work with. And so I just like taking that like mindset shift and just like taking that, like, I'm so nervous, and kind of be like, why am I so nervous? Like, there are people, I'm going to have a conversation with them. And that really like calmed down like my nerves and made it like any other call that I'd be making.
Nice. Anastasia, what about you?
Thank you.
Well, with me, I have questions because I mainly focus on, as you know, land and lots. So I haven't made any initial phone calls per se, but I have done some Google research. And in my research for hedge funds in Texas, there's about 141 hedge funds, but none of them specifically said land. So my question is, and I also Googled hedge fund Texas land buyers. So the only one that came up was, I believe his name was, Kyle Bass. I'm not sure you're familiar with him. And he buys in Brazoria County. Yeah, he buys in Dallas area. But then I was looking for his buy box, like what's the criteria? And I didn't see anything. What's the structure they look for? Are they buying residential, commercial? And I could not find anything for my notes. So, and then going through the courses, maybe I haven't gotten there yet. I think we're on 8. I don't know if there's anything specifically speaks about hedge fund buyers, what they look for. Is it worth? Do you get the money for the land, or is it better to go to your local developer? And I also saw that if they do buy land, they'll usually either develop it themselves or they'll hire another company to develop it. So these are some of the questions I've been encountering as I'm working towards building, my SOPs for hedge funds and buying land.
Okay, so a couple things. Let's break this down. So first things first, you're looking for hedge funds that will buy land, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you're dealing with the funds that are buying land, it depends on who you find. It's going to depend on how they're actually buying the land, okay? So some hedge funds will buy the land and they will develop it themselves, like you said. Some of them they'll say like, okay, we'll buy this, but we don't want the land like undeveloped. We want, like, for instance, if you build the house, we'll contract with you up front, and you'll have a buyer locked in already when you build. You see what I'm saying? When you get ready to build the house, right? So the land buyers, these are more so when you're talking about big developers. It's a different type of fund, right? And some of them are more so backed by hedge fund when you're talking about the actual developer themselves. And this is where you get into the build to rent play, like the Chase is coming in. And they're actually starting in Atlanta, actually. They're starting with, I think, 250 new build homes in Atlanta. So this is actually an area where, you know, they're doing that. But here's the thing. Most of them are looking for them to already be, like, in place. You see what I'm saying? Now you have others that will buy the land, but in order for you to get the criteria, you're gonna have to have the conversation. So, like, okay, you have a development company, Lafayette Homes. You can find them and go on their website, and it'll give you the criteria. We want 40 acres minimum. We want to be able to build 50 houses or X amount of houses, right? You have these different criteria that they use. And based upon that criteria, it's going to be based upon how you want to deliver. They want a certain type of zoning, etc. But for the most part, when you're dealing with the funds with the land, you have to have a conversation with those people and figure out what type of land are y'all buying. Are you only buying residentially zoned? Are you buying rural zone? Outside of the type of land, the more important thing is, what do you guys need in order to close a deal?
Right.
That's the question that you want to ask, even more deeper than the criteria. It's like, okay, the base criteria is easy. It's like, okay, we want X amount of acres in this particular area, this type of zoning, etc., right? But the big question is, do you require a survey before you close, right? If you do require a survey, do you require a soil test? Do you do sewer and septic, or is it just one or the other? Is there a specific area that you'll buy the land in over others? Very key question. Can the land be raw, or does it have to be developed? This is a very key question, because when you're talking to sellers, there's a lot of raw land out here, right? And if they want it developed, that's when you start talking about getting into using some private money to be able to go and maybe clear some land out and provide this type of deal to this fund. The good thing about it is that when you rock with a fund like that on a land deal, you can usually lock in with them and make it a part of the due diligence period, and basically give them everything they're asking for before you close the deal, but you know you got a set price in place, right? But for the most part, when we're talking about the hedge funds, the majority of them, when we're talking about the land ones, if they're building themselves, they're gonna have a certain level of things that they need. So some of them wanna have land permits, like land permit gotta be in place, right? Some of them want, besides the survey, they're gonna want also, what's the second thing that we're dealing with, right? Because we're dealing with this right now. The soil test, no, the soil test is different. So soil test comes into play when you're on septic, right? So if your land is on septic, they're gonna want a soil test for that. Damn near, probably, I ain't gonna say 100%, but for a lot of the deals we work with now that are on septic, it's very popular that they're asking for a soil test, right? The survey is important, understanding how long that survey takes. So some people have in-house survey, right? I was very shocked to see a guy get a survey done in 3 weeks. But the normal everyday individual surveys is taking 6 to 8 weeks to get done. Some people 12 weeks, depending on who you're talking to.
Okay.
Right, so understanding their process over criteria is the key to dealing with the fund when it comes to land.
Okay, so basically, for example, like in Texas, since there was about 141, do I need to just call each of them? Because
was it 141 that buy land, or just 141 hedge funds, and the ones you came across so happen to buy land?
141 hedge funds.
Okay.
And the only one I came across that bought land is that Brent, it's that Kyle Bass person, and he buys in Dallas County and Brazoria County.
Okay. What gave you the, so Kyle has a company, right? What gave you the trigger to let you know this is a possible hedge fund that buys land? What was the trigger for you for that?
Because it says he buys, he's like the top guy in Texas buying all the raw land in Brazoria County.
Okay, so he buys raw land. Okay,
Yeah.
so your key when it comes to him is a contact, a conversation. That's the most important thing, right? Because if he's buying a lot of the raw land, there's two things here. If he's an individual buying a bunch of raw land or like a small business, he's not paying the high. That's first thing. He's paying low prices. Okay? So which means that the land is probably 9 times out of 10 got to be very cheap. You also want to find out, were you able to research any of the land that he's bought and developed? Or is it just, hey, I'm buying all the raw land? Is he buying it and then like, what is he doing? What's his exit strategy with the land?
Yeah, I haven't got to that next step with him as yet.
Okay.
But when I do search for hedge funds for land, I'm getting like private companies that comes up that are not necessarily hedge fund companies.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, when you're talking about a hedge fund in the residential space, they're focusing on the single family homes, you know what I'm saying, things like that, maybe small multi-family townhouses, things like that, but the majority is the single family homes. When you start talking about land, you getting into hedge fund developers, you getting into like different type of, you see what I'm saying? They're not all considered really hedge funds, but those are great contacts that you need to have to move land because you can get land deals. Land deals are fairly easier to get than home deals, actually, when you're talking about houses, right? A lot more leads when it comes to that as well. But all land isn't created equal. So that's why it's very important. You know what I'm saying? Even when you start talking about like flood zones when it comes to the land, different things like that. But the key that I would say, if you found 141 hedge funds out in Texas, do you have phone numbers for everybody?
Most of them. I'm just not building my whole.
Okay. So if you have phone numbers for most of them, I would just go ahead and start a strong call campaign, reaching out, using the intro script, right? Talking to them and finding out what they actually do. Because hedge funds, they do different things. Like there are different types of funds, right? So when you reach out to all of you want to see, hey, I was actually looking to find, well, if you can, go to their website first, because you don't want to call them not sounding like you did your research on them. You know what I'm saying? So you want to find out, like, hey, look at their website. What are they actually doing here? Right? And if they're holding portfolios, that's who you want to talk to. If they're developing land, developing land, right? So the build to rent, damn near every hedge fund is willing to pay top dollar, in a sense, for a new construction home. When it comes to build, like you can't, as long as it fits the criteria and it's where it needs to be at, right? And everything matches, they're gonna buy a new construction home. So the build to rent isn't necessarily, it's not hard to find them people who are gonna buy those. Plenty of hedge funds, they got plenty of money. So they're gonna buy 5, 10, 15, 20 houses in a new subdivision build to rent. The key is will y'all buy the land and me not have to build it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I don't have to build it, will you rock with me? If you can find them, then you in pocket.
Okay, so I need to do my due diligence pretty much, and I can't just go using script 2. I need to create a whole different scenario for land.
Well,
I looked at script 2, and I'll have to like.
It's bigger than creating a scenario, because what I would say for you and what I would like for you to do is to just start off with that first base level conversation of what is it that you guys do, what is your criteria, and what is your process, right? Criteria and process, two different things. The process is important because when you're acquiring land, you need to know how I think we talked about this in the course as well, like matching terms. You need to understand this particular hedge fund requires 60-day DD. So I need to get 90-day due diligence on my land deals. You know what I'm saying? To account for that time in the process. Some hedge funds say, look, all I need is a survey and I can close. Right? If it's zone residential, R1, R5, and you got a survey, I can close. I don't need nothing else.
Okay, got it.
Right, so that's what you want to find out first. Once you get that, bring that back to the next call, and hopefully it would be nice if you can maybe get 5 to 10 by the time we meet back on Friday, right? That you had those conversations with, and then based off of their process and criteria, we can create a marketing strategy around acquiring leads and deals for them specifically.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. What else have you found on your search over the past few days? Is that pretty much the main thing right now?
Yeah, pretty much. The main thing, and I kind kind of like ventured a little bit into like the gentrification.
Mhm.
I didn't see like Hedge, because pretty much with that, they use the existing land to build on. They don't necessarily go buy land to do gentrification. So yeah, I'm on this learning curve, and it's pretty exciting. And that was pretty much some of the questions I had to as far as land and lot of time. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So here's what I want to do. I want to get into before we get into matter of fact, let's get to this. Do y'all have what does your lead flow look like right now? Do y'all have anything in your pipeline that might be considered like it might be a deal there?
Well, no, as she was saying, from I think a couple of weeks ago, we had a lead that we've been trying to work on. And this particular lead is down in Florida or Texas? I don't remember which one was it.
It's in Florida.
Can we pull that one up? And
yeah, it's in Jacksonville.
Okay, perfect. Jacksonville is a good market. We just pulled some data in Jacksonville today. Do
you want me to drop the address in the chat?
Drop in the chat for me.
Yeah.
Okay, get it.
All right. Let's see what we got. All right, so let's talk details, specifications of the deal as we're getting this pulled up. Vacant or occupied?
It's vacant currently.
Awesome.
He's a tired landlord. He wants to invest in some properties in Cabo, so he's trying to sell off he sold 2 other ones that he had in Jacksonville. This is his last one.
Okay, so he's ready to rock and roll. When the last time you talked to him?
Last time I talked to him was on the 21st. I let him know, we kind of went through our process to see if any other avenue would be a good fit for him. I let him know that I'd be reaching out to someone to see if his property might be a good fit for. So I let him know he's aware of I'm looking for somebody. And his next step is he's gonna list it if he can't sell it. He's not in any rush because this is his best rental. This was his best rental, and it's the best looking one that he had. But he wants to sell it because he wants to invest in Cabo. So if he doesn't sell it before he lists it, which he's gonna list it sometime coming up, he said that he was waiting for the other ones to close. He didn't want everything to close all at once.
Yep.
So he's just kind of waiting for the other ones to close out, and then he'll move forward with this property.
Okay. Do we know when the other ones are supposed to close?
I don't have specific dates, but I can get those.
Okay, perfect. Let's get him on the line now. Call him real quick.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, I'm just gonna do a little, just kind of a quick overview of the deal, and then we'll kind of get into the numbers. So it's vacant house right now. It's in Jacksonville. What's the year built on this property?
This is
getting spicy.
2007?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. All right, so just off that alone, the year built is good. Let's talk, let's go to Zillow, and then what I want to do is I want to go down and I want to check the school scores.
Okay.
School scores on this particular property. Let's see.
Schools are not the best.
Yeah, Jacksonville is only 2 zip codes where you got good schools. Other than that, everywhere else is suspect.
So this is 1s and 2s.
Okay, 1s and 2s.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How much does he want for the house?
So let me go back to my notes. Sorry, I would have had it all pulled up for you already.
Good. Nah, we be in the session. You good? No rush. We working. All right. Let's see. This right here.
While we're doing that real quick, I hope everybody that's watching this is really getting this, we in it. You know what I mean? This isn't one of no play zone. This we jumping in. So while they're working on that, Anastasia, I saw you put an address in the chat. Which one? What's that address? The 10 acres.
That is the 10 acres that I've been working to the seller for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here in Houston, tucked right in between. It's beautiful, and it's 6 acres and 4 acres put together. And he was asking $1 million, and he's ready to do business again.
Okay.
Okay, so he has it for $100,000 an acre, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Have you dove into this yet?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We got him in this. Good guy. Just ready to move on at that age.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're gonna get into that one next. Okay. So now it makes sense. You looking for the hedge fund. You said this is in Houston?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So
Just a quick question.
let's see.
What's
Can
We got
I use your phone to turn the TV down a little bit?
all right, cool. So you got that for me, Ashley?
I do. So I was incorrect. So I need to correct myself. It's rented out until May of this year, 2023, for $14.50.
I wanted to ask. I was gonna
He's
ask
looking to get
how
$175
many
to
followers do you
$180.
have on YouTube?
I have no idea.
I think it was
175 to 180, rented out until May of this year.
Mm-hmm. I want to
All right.
download YouTube.
Now, is this
So,
attached
okay,
or detached? I'm looking.
This looks attached.
Okay, go do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a single. It looks like it's kind of classified as a single family residential. I'm kind of seeing it right here. It looks like it's 1, 2, maybe 4 units into a building.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think.
Or townhome, like town.
Take Chauncey.
It's really a townhome,
Okay.
but some places they classified as a single family residence as attached, so an attached single family home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it looks like from what I'm seeing, this is kind of accurate. So you say he wants 170 to 180?
Yes.
Okay. Rented out in 1450, 170, and 180. All right, so I'm looking at the comps now. Now, when I'm looking at this property, my first thought is because it's attached, you got to go with a fund that's cool with townhome style.
Right now, I just got like the, oh my gosh, it's like more townhome,
Mm-hmm.
not like single family.
Yep, you got to go with a fund that's going to rock with the townhomes. Now, the key here is that here's what I would do. We're going to go to the recently sold. So I'm going to PropStream right now. And in PropStream, I'm going to the recently sold properties. I want to go to, I'm going to go to the public records sold. There's a lot of land that's been sold over here as well. And then what I want to see is what's been going on this particular street. There's a lot of activity on this street in the past year. I want to kind of dive more closer to the last 3 months. So we're going to go October. Let's see, October 3rd to right now. So let's see right here. We got 13 comps. Now, out of these 13 comps, 10 of them is land. You got one on the same street. So 792 on that street sold for 182 November 16th. 3-bed, 2.5. It's the same house, twin sister, right? Say it was a 2006 instead of a 07 build, but the same property. So this right here is sold for 182, but it does not look like it's sold cash for 182. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm looking at the pictures, it looks like a pretty standard, just clean house. Let me see if I can show you. Where am I at? I'm on Chrome. Okay, so you can see right here. All right, now this particular property, you see if you look at the pictures, standard condition. He got a renter in there, so it's probably similar to this. I doubt that he did any major upgrades to it, did he?
He didn't. And in fact, he said the pictures that are on Zillow are how the condition is.
Okay. First things first, I just want to see who bought this. So I'm going to go on here and I'm going to see who actually purchased this. Was it a corporation? Because even though it doesn't say it's a cash sale, that doesn't mean the corporation didn't buy it. It might have just been sold on the market rather than off the market. So let's see. And I'm gonna come back here as well. And I'm gonna take a look at, let's see. He bought it and he paid $39,000 for it. Okay. MLS details. Rented it out. Yep. You see, he rented it out for that $1,450. Took 7 days to do it. It is a townhome. Now, I'm gonna come over here back to the comparables while this other one is loading up, because I also want to show you these flip comps in the area as well. So the flip comps is gonna show us when somebody purchased the property for a lower price and then resold it. So right here, this person bought this property for $120 January 24th, sold it September 27th for $210, same street. And I like to stay on the same street first when I'm going to my comparables. This person right here bought this 11/17/2021 for $165, sold it for $195 January 31st. This give me investor flip kind of energy. It was sold, bought, and then sold 2 months later. This one right here was bought and sold 8 months later. It don't take that long to do a renovation. Maybe it was occupied. Let's see. So what I'm gonna do right here is I'm gonna look at those flip comps and I'm gonna reach out to the agents, right? So you wanna call these real estate agents that are on these flip comps, and you wanna find out if they got any other buyers that's buying over here. So when you click on the flip comp, what you're gonna see is there you go. All right. So open door. All right, open door bought the property. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna ask you a question about your seller.
Okay.
How cooperative or open to you making money does your seller seem to be in your opinion?
He's pretty savvy, so I think he knows that. I mean, I don't think that he knows that I'm not going to do a deal if I don't make anything, kind of thing.
Okay, so
he's very easy to talk to.
Yes. Okay. So here's what I would say. Let me see. Link properties. She only owns one. So this is an individual buyer who bought this. This sounds like a property that's perfect to get under contract and list on the MLS. Right? That's what this looks like to me. Hey guys.
Okay.
What I would say, you can get this property under contract and you can submit it to Open Door and you can see what they would offer you for the deal. Now, the thing about Open Doors, they come with a lot of fees and things like that, right? But what you can do is you can still sell this house to Open Door without taking title to the deal. Mm-hmm. And this is why I asked you how open to doing something more creative with the seller be. Because what happens is that if you get this property under contract and you can get the seller to sign an attorney-in-fact document, then you can sign on his behalf and you can sell this deal to Open Door without you guys actually having to take title. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that 170 to 180 is just too tight to do this deal.
Right.
Right? Because you don't have enough spread there to take into consideration the fees and stuff that's going to come along with listing the property. I say your ideal price on this one is going to be more like 150, right? 150 is like your price. Now, at 150, considering the fact that when you look at the comparables, you know, stuff is over here selling at around basically, I would say you're pretty much looking at a back end number of, what's that? If this sold for 182, I would say a back end number of 180, right? Just to be conservative, because this just sold November 16th. Ain't nothing happened with the interest rates between now and then, right? So with that being said, I would say 180 is your back end dispo price. As long as the house looks clean like this one does and there's nothing crazy going on with the tenants. With your back end price being 180 as an ARV, you're talking about 150 on the acquisition, maybe disposition to a cash investor at 165 to be up underneath that 180 price, right? But also take into consideration what type of rents can you get. So it looks like that there was a property over here that his is rented for $1,450. I would say on this particular house, if you check, what's the rents estimate say on this?
Let me look. $16.99 is what Zillow says.
Okay, cool. So basically, market rent with the town, and I use rents estimate because it's very reliable, and a lot of people use it and consider it. Sometimes I might take a look at prop stream number as well, 1773, right, and just kind of compare and contrast. So 1,700 with the house upgraded. So let's talk about a standard, just like evaluation on this particular property. If we're talking about $1,700 a month for the rent, right? If we're using a 1% rule, buyer gonna want to be all in 170 on this particular deal, right? That's with purchase, that's with rehab, that's with everything. And right now, these days, you want to get to the 1% rule, right? If this was early last year, we can go a little bit, we don't got to be at the 1%, but these days, we got to be at the 1% rule. So all in 170, take off $15K for your profit, right? $15K for your profit on $170,000 is fair. So that dropped you down to $155. Then you want to take into consideration the upgrade package on what you're going to need to actually upgrade the particular property, right? So on this house, I would say pure cosmetic upgrade on 1,600 square feet, 25K. So 25K minus that 155. Now you start talking about your real offer of what? 155, 20, 130, 120?
120.
120. Now, 130. 130. 30 is your max off. 130 plus 25K is 155 plus the 15K that bring them up to 170. Yeah, so 130 actually ends up being your offer. Now, the reason I would offer 130 is because if no cash buyer wanted to buy it, you got it at a price where you can buy it and still list it and make money as a hotel. See what I'm saying?
Could you explain hotel for some of the new people that is also on? You have mentioned it before.
Yeah, definitely. So when we're talking about hotel, this is basically there's a couple ways to hotel depending on how you look at it. What we normally do is I like to hotel as is. So if I buy it for, let's say, with short-term money, basically that's just buying the property, owning it for a short term. But when you own it, you list it on the MLS and you sell it to a more retail buyer. Right now, the benefit of our contracts is that it allows us to pre-market on the MLS, right? So we're able to actually sell the deal without having to actually purchase it and use that money. But I like the hotel process if you got to hold the deal a little longer. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you race against that contract time and you got to do things very, very quickly in order for you to actually move the deal and be within your contract time frames. So the hotel works when the hotel is great because when you own the property, you're only racing against the time of the cost of the money rather than the time of the contract.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you pick that up at 130, you're safe to be able to move it within 60 days. You're safe. Let's say the money gonna cost you 5% for 60 days. You're looking at roughly maybe being all in 142, 143. And a house like that listing you on an MLS for a townhouse up underneath recent sales is more attractive to the marketplace. So if everything is listed and selling at 180 and above, but you coming in at 169.9, it looks a little bit more attractive, right? And at that price point, you're gonna get cash offers.
Mm-hmm. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take that and we're gonna take action with it, right? Call us out today, make the offer on it today, and in that way, by our call on Friday, we'll have an update for you and everybody else that's coming along the ride to what we can possibly do with this deal.
Shoot, bro. You want to call him now?
Yeah, we call him now.
Yeah, let's call him now. Yeah, sure. Let's see what he's talking about. Because now here's what I would say on your approach, right? I know he want 170 to 180, and this is the other benefit of getting it at 130. If you get it at 130 and you can dispo it at 145 in its current condition and current standing, it meets the 1% rule because it's rented out for $1,450. You see what I'm saying? So you can buy it at the 1% rule and then renovate it and still be all in at the 1% rule when you renovate the property. Right? So when you talk to him, I would say, hey, look, he's not in a rush. Okay, we already understand that. It's tenant occupied, so you're going to be limited to buyers who will buy with tenants, but you're more open to buyers who will buy with tenants if the price is right, right? But I would ask him personally, I would say, hey, Mr. Seller, that 170 to 180 that you're asking for is really retail price. I'm an investor. I don't really see how I can make money at that price. If I had it my way, I would like to be at 100 to 110,000, but I know you probably wouldn't take that.
Yeah.
Right. It just
play the game.
Yeah,
play the game.
Let's just see what type of time he's on, because he knows he's selling it for retail, right? So if he knows he's selling it for retail, then my approach after that would be, obviously, you already with one of the sub 2 kings, you go the sub 2 route, but he's an older guy. It sounds like he want to cash out right now. You know what I'm saying? So if he want to cash out right now, what I would say is, look, Mr. Seller, in order for me to make money on this property and pay you cash, my price is just not matching what it is that you're looking for. What I can do is I can possibly put you into our retail buyer profit program. Well, what's that? Well, that's basically where we take your property and we connect you with a retail buyer who's willing to pay more on the house than somebody like me would be. Is that something you're interested in? You just want to get interest right now. You don't want no
commitment.
Solid commitment. Nope. Right? But you want to get interest. Right? And if he's interested in that, then you got something.
Because essentially what that is, that opens up the door for that hotel. You gonna say something, Ashley?
Yes. So go in with my, I know you're wanting the 170, 185, but knowing that I'm an investor in the perfect world, I would like to have it at the 110 range, but we know that that's not what you're looking for. But then if he says no or whatever, and then I can ask him if he's interested in the retail buyers program. That's the right you go?
Yeah. Well,
I understand the cash offer isn't going to work. Would you be interested in our retail buyer profit program? Well, what is that? Well, basically what we do is we take properties that we can't purchase because our offers don't work for the sellers, and we connect those sellers with a retail buyer who will be willing to pay closer to retail for you. Well, how do you make money on that deal? Well, basically what we do is we agree to a bottom line number from you. No, I don't want to go any lower than this. We get a seller that's willing to pay us our fee, and they pay our fee on top of what your bottom line number is, and that's how we get paid.
So for those that are watching, right, this is super dope. This is like high level stuff here. So what's going to happen is, and my team knows this, right? We talk about allowing the seller to participate in the movie, right? If she comes out and she's like, hey, I can give you 130, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to be like, no, right? Because you didn't allow the seller to beat up on you or to feel like they won. Like every seller wants to feel like the hero in the movie, right? When they explain this to their friend, I sold the house. Yeah, they wanted to sell it at 110. I told them, I got them suckers for 130. That's what you want that story to sound like coming out their mouth. So Ashley's gonna come in and say, hey, listen, you wouldn't be interested in like 100, 110 range, right? The whole question mark, knowing that he's probably gonna say no, right? Now, what if he's like, you know what? I really just want to be done with it. Let's do 110.
Now, see, at 110, if he says that, this is where the additional layers of value come in. If he says 110, all right, well, Mr. How soon are you looking to get it done? If he hits you with it like yesterday, at 110, I would tell him we can close this in 10 days.
Yep.
Because at 110, you're buying it yourself.
Yep.
You're getting transactional funding. You're going to close on that deal, and you're going to list that because it's too much spread to lose. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's the benefit. Yeah.
So you hit him with that cash offer. If he takes it, we know what we're doing. If he denies it, then what you want to do next is be like, well, I could pay more than what you're asking, but that's only if we do terms. Like you wouldn't be interested in terms, would you? Right? And now we kind of already, and this is why it's important to get detailed information from your seller, because you kind of already know, right? Like it's like me asking my girl, like, yo, do you know, I know you said you wanted this to eat, but do you want Taco Bell? Knowing she hates Taco Bell, right? But that's not the goal. The goal is pizza tonight. So I'm gonna bring up Taco Bell so that when I bring up pizza, it's like, you know what, I could do pizza. It's like, yes, you know what I'm saying? So that's how you want to play this game, right? So you're gonna offer creative. Now, if he takes creative, slam dunk, we can come in again with more and more value. It's only gonna be more benefit for the seller. If they say no, I can't do creative because I might die next week, I'm ready for my money, I want to do X, Y, and third, or whatever. All right, well, listen, I can possibly do something, and then that's where you introduce what K-Dot was just talking about, right? The retail purchase. Now, if he's like, no, I kind of just want to get a sure thing. Now we're like, well, look, I can probably go bug my boss and see if we can make this work. I'll cut back on my commission, which would probably just leave me with like $10 at the end of this. But if I cut back and I can take my boss to cut back on everything else, I can possibly see if I can get this up. But max will be, I know, is 130. I know I can't get it for anything higher than 130. Yeah. We done went through 4 scenarios with them, going back and forth, and now you tell them what your max is, which for us is still a good deal. So that's how you want to work.
One thing I would add on there when you start going through the numbers, asking when you get them on the phone, I would even add on there like, hey, look, man, hey, look, you know, I'm not trying to hit a home run here. Honestly, if I pay you 130, we gonna put 25,000 into it. I'm only gonna make $2,000.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, really break down the numbers for them. Like, hey, we're gonna put 25K in the upgrade in the property. We're gonna sell it, and I'm only gonna make 20 grand on the deal.
And that's the crazy thing you just said. Most wholesalers are so afraid to expose the numbers because they think a seller's gonna be like, oh wait, you make 25K. Listen, they know what we're doing. This ain't this ain't Goodwill, right? This ain't a nonprofit, right? We looking to make money. We're not most homeowners think, you know, you sell their house, you're gonna walk out with 60, 70, 80,000. That's only on like a full gut, you know, got it at the bottom. On average, when the market was hot, okay, this is when the market was hot, most buyers that I know were doing a deal as long as they can make 10% return.
Facts. No, that's true. That's the truth. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So it's perfectly okay to expose a number. I've had deals where I've negotiated successfully by letting the seller know straight. I say, listen, you help me work the numbers out. This is all I need to make. I need to make 10% on this. This is what we're gonna do. So where could you help me make money?
Help me make it make sense.
Right. You know what I mean? And now and the team, we talk about this all the time. Now it's us versus the market, or it's us versus them. And that's the key. Now, and that's what I'm saying. Like we talked about K-Dot's deal. He gave that address out earlier. You can't steal that deal from him because him or his team and the seller, they done went through war together to figure this out and solve this problem. Now they got it. It's a done deal. So, all right, Ashley, let's see if we can get a hold of him. You can dial him in.
I do have one more question.
Yes.
What is the difference between the retail buyer's profit program versus him just listing it directly with MLS trying to get top dollar? Like, what if he comes back with that question?
Yep. Okay, perfect. So when he lists on the MLS, he's going to have to deal with a whole bunch of showings. He's going to have to deal with paying the commission out, the retail, and he's going to have to deal with concessions, which you don't know how much that's going to be from an actual buyer in this market. Mm-hmm. Because nowadays in this market, sellers are having to give concessions to buyers. Here's what I normally do when I pitch it to them. The benefit of our strategy is we don't just go and we don't just do a bunch of showings on the property. In order for somebody to qualify to come and see your property, they have to give a preliminary offer. They have to give preliminary favorable terms. And then we take the best 2 or 3 and we bring them through one time to come and see the property to create some type of urgency and let them know that there are multiple people invested in this property. From there, we take our best offer. And sometimes, Mr. Seller, the best offer isn't the best price. Sometimes it's the best terms in conjunction with the price, right? And when you explain that to them, it's like, you know what, you're right. You want to consider my 130 maybe? You know, like it might not be.
You got options. You got options here, right?
You know what I mean? Like, but that's kind of how you want to kick it to them to make them understand that when we do this, it's different. It's not a real estate agent listing your house and bringing by doing a showing every other hour for 5 days straight. It's not that type of party. you can sit back and relax, understanding that your price doesn't change. What we agree to, that's what you get. You let me deal with the numbers on the back end and how we're going to make our money.
Yep. White glove.
And then you end it by saying, honestly, I'm not even sure if you're going to qualify. We have to see. But if you do, that would be how this will go.
Okay. All right.
Now what? Now all right. I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna jinx it.
No.
Exactly.
So if you're following along, this is a lead that we were looking at. Make sure you guys stay geared up and ready. We'll be doing episode 3 of Wholesaling the Hedge Funds Friday at 2 p.m. The links will be in our bios and everything. You don't want to miss that. We got a bunch of homework assignment that we're about to get into for the rest of the week and show up on Friday with the results and be able to push that forward. If you missed it, if you came on late, just go back to the beginning of the video so you can be able to catch up on where we're at. All right.
Let's see what we got.
Let's see what's popping. And this will probably be the last thing that we do because I know we only wanted to do an hour. But the game was going. It was too good. Wanted to give the game. Wanted to make sure it hit. So for sure, if you guys are locked in, it sounds like a voicemail. If you guys are locked in, or you want to get locked in, I'm gonna put my guy's info here again for you guys to be able to make sure that you can link in with him.
Hey yo, if anybody wanted to hop on as well and get a deal, get some questions answered, and evaluate a couple deals, you can go ahead and drop a comment below, and I'll go ahead and add you to the draw. I'll give you the link. It's not really letting me show it right here. Let me see. I'll go to the group. I know somebody had a property earlier. They wanted to.
Hi, this is Randy. Please leave a message.
They wanted to get.
Randy, let me text him.
All right, let's do it. So I know you guys heard Randy's voicemail came up a couple of times. That's because that's how we get down on this side of the table. We do 3 times. We will call you 3 times in a row, like your house is on fire. And then when you pick up, we act like it's the first time we called, right? Like, oh, I didn't know. Did you get this? Oh, that's weird. The ring on my side. Yeah. Look, or my favorite.
Same thing.
Back to back. My favorite when they pick up, like, hello, did you just call me? It's like, yeah, I didn't know it went through because it didn't pick up on my side. You didn't pick up.
I didn't even know I called you that many times. My bad.
Yeah. I just had something urgent wanted to talk to you about.
All right, I see you want to get. I'm about to drop the link in the group right now for you so that you can hop in. Let me see.
My dog is drinking a gallon of water. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that.
No, we can't hear nothing. You good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so this is what I want to do, guys. I want you guys to continue to, pushing through, making those calls, getting in touch with the funds. Take that deal I gave you, use it to gain some traction. That goes for you too, Anastasia, as well. Use that when you get in touch with them. It's a great icebreaker. You know what I'm saying? It shows that you actually have something to offer.
Yep.
And go ahead and get that done. Let me see. All right, I'm dropping the link in here now for you to hop in. Let's see. CEO's on link. All right, there it is.
He said he can't talk right now. Can I call him tomorrow?
Okay. Let's set up a time and we'll make that happen.
Okay.
Cool.
He's not in a rush. Be like, can you call me back tomorrow?
Oh yeah, he chilling.
Randy.
He chilling.
Let me see. All right, link.
So we got a question here that's coming in from social media chat. It says, hey, this is Harry. What's up, man? It says, as a new wholesaler, should I focus on hedge fund buyers rather than local flippers? So I'll give you my take on that, but then I definitely want to hear what Kendall has to say. I would say both. I don't think you need to, just say, oh, I'm just going to deal with hedge funds. Like, no, I think you should be doing both of them. I think they serve a purpose, right, for 2 different types of things. And the way Kendall is shaking his head, yes, I'm assuming he agrees as well. So, I want to get your take on it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So like I was saying kind of earlier on the call, right? The thing is this: wholesaling the hedge funds is just a strategy in your business. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you're supposed to exclusively only do. You know what I'm saying? This is just something that when you think about it like this, when you pull some data, right? And if you don't filter your data the right way, you're gonna get leads that are different year bills, different situations, different things like that, right? The hedge funds serve a particular purpose. We got a deal right now with that we're working on. So it's a JV deal with one of my guys. The house is built in I think it's 1964 out there in Decatur. It's not a hedge fund deal. It's a local buyer deal. Why? Hedge funds are not buying houses that's 1960 or older. They're buying houses that's the minimum is 1965 from a hedge fund, and that particular hedge fund does not pay the greatest. They damn near pay like a local buyer, right? But the hedge funds that are paying better, they dealing with the houses that's 1990, 95, 2000, 2005, 2010, right? We're working on one right now in Nashville that's a 2012 we're trying to lock up for a hedge fund. You see what I'm saying? So these particular houses are not built for local buyers because at the price point that you're going to be able to acquire these more better conditioned houses at, that price point is not conducive to a local buyer. So you need both. You understand what I'm saying? That way you have multiple options. Once again, if you're talking about motivated sellers, you're going to get more motivated sellers when you're looking at deals that are older bills. Why? Because there's more distress in the property.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The newer build houses, you're gonna get motivation, divorce leads, pre-foreclosures, things like that. Those things happen with the newer houses. But they're just two different types of buyers, and you don't want to front on one and just for the sake of focusing on the other and saying all I do is wholesale out hedge funds. No, I specialize in wholesaling hedge funds because I've been wholesaling the hedge funds for 5 years. But I sell deals to local buyers all day. Don't play with me, like you know what I'm saying?
Don't play with them.
Yeah, so keep all that and keep all that into consideration. I dropped that link in the group for you, bro, so that you can go ahead and join the Zoom. All right. Just look in the Facebook group. I just dropped it there, and you can go ahead and join. So we can go ahead and get your question answered. I think is that Charles? That's trying to get in. Just say Facebook music. Yeah, go ahead. All right, hop on in. All right, cool. So, in the meantime, any of y'all got questions? Do the hedge funds buy in Alabama? Yes, hedge funds do buy in Alabama. You just got to find the ones that are buying out there. But we do have. I mean, I think I got one or two right now, just off the top of my head, that's buying out in Alabama right now, particularly Birmingham. Yeah, Trees, if you want to sign up for a session, just DM me and let me know. But you can also sign up for the masterclass. Link is in my bio, and then we can get in there.
I saw Huntsville a few times when I was looking through hedge funds.
Okay, so you found some Huntsville? There's some out there? That's great. That's great. And I like little pockets like that, like Huntsville, stuff that isn't like super main metro, but it's still metro. Like it's still a city within that type of area. But at the same time, you're still able to actually, have an advantage by having a hedge fund in those type of areas. Yeah. Charles, what's up, man? What's going on?
What's good, my guy?
Man, not much, man. We here just, putting in work with Eddie's team right now.
I hear you. What's going on, Eddie?
What's up, man? What's going on with you, bro?
Man, just trying to make it happen, my guy.
Love it. Love it. What would you got for us, man?
What's up? What you got going on?
I got that deal that's in Fort Worth, and I want to see if that's maybe a better deal for a hedge fund versus just like a regular wholesale type of deal.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's dive into it real quick. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and let's see. All right, give me the ad real quick. It's box. It's the Fort Worth joint, right?
Yep, it's 11708 Bobcat Drive, I believe.
All right, let's see what we got. That's it. Here it is. Do we got real meetings? I don't have RIA meetings right now, but actually we do have live in-person events starting this month. Stay tuned real quick. We're gonna drop a little quick little teaser on that, just kind of let you know it's coming, but it is coming this month. All right, let's see. In the meantime, you need to join the Wholesale to Hedge Funds group on Facebook. You can tap in with that. Come to the master class if you didn't. We got one tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So go ahead and register for that. And then just tap in with the group. All right, cool. So here go the comparables right here. So in Texas, I'm going MLS comps specifically in Texas. All right, so we're going to start there. Now, I got this pulled up. The next thing I'm going to do, besides have it right here on PropStream, is I'm going to take it to Zillow as well. And I want to see what's going on Zillow. All right, cool. So I think you had told me, what's your acquisition price on this?
So I locked it up at 305.
Okay. So you got it at 305. His estimate is 340 on this. Let's scroll down. First things first, I want to check the schools and the year build. It looked new, you can tell by that, but it's a 2003 year build, so it passes on that. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna pull up the hedge fund offer calculator, and we're going to use this to help us evaluate this deal. All right, so a lot of y'all who came for the master class, if you did get the bonus, 9 times out of 10, you ended up getting, well, if you did get the bonus, you got the hedge fund calculator. So if you're following along, y'all can definitely tap in with us and follow along using the calculator as well, so that y'all can see it. Let me see something. Get the calculator up and rocking. All right, now in the meantime, give me some details. What's the occupancy? What's going on with that?
Okay, so here's the deal with it. This is a married couple. They just bought this property back in October. I think they closed on 10/22. They paid $335 cash, so they own the property outright. The reason they're selling is the husband's mother just passed away a couple weeks ago, and they have to move back to Colorado. So they want to get they want to do an all cash offer. They don't want to list, but they're ready. You know, they want to get it sold and move on. And so that's kind of the urgency. So they are motivated, but they also, you know, they don't want to lose too much money, because again,
I was about to say they're losing.
They're losing 30 grand just in under 90 days.
Exactly.
So try to get them into more of a creative financing, because they own it.
Yeah.
A little bit of wiggle room there. With you know, they said if somebody could bring 100 to closing, they would be willing to work out something, but they don't want to carry the balance for longer than 6 months. So that's not really, exactly. It's not really.
Yeah, I ain't really creative. Okay, so using the offer generator calculator, first things first, Darnell, what you missed, Darnell, when you say you missed that joint? Using the offer generator calculator, first things first, let's qualify the deal. So the year built is 2003. So we're going to go ahead and put that in there. It's definitely going to pass on the year built. Next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and get to the school scores. So we scroll down. School scores on this one, 787. I already know that's going to pass. But what you want to do is you want to add all 3 up and divide by 3. So that's 15, 7, that's 22. Divided by 3 is roughly 7.5. Let's call it a 7. That's going to go ahead and definitely pass. Now, is it on the main road? Yes or no? So let's take a look at the street view. And then when we're looking at the street view, just want to turn it around. I want to see where it's at. Nope, it's in the neighborhood. It's in the subdivision, right? So is it on the main road? No, that's going to pass. Is it in the flood zone? Quick way to check to see if it's in the flood zone without having to do a lot of extra research is just to look at the map on Zillow, zoom out. Is there any water around? Nope, just these little pond, whatever right there. That ain't nothing major. There's no flooding going on right here, right? So once we do that, we know it's not in the flood zone, so it passes as far as the base, the first level of qualifying for a hedge fund, okay? Now, next thing we need to do is we need to get to the rehab. Now, they just bought it in October. Now, they paid let's look at the comps real quick. If we look at the recently sold in the area, 344, and remember, I like to go same street first. I'm not going past the same street if I got 2 or 3 on the same street. Does that make sense? Right? Now, further away than these others. So to assume is all of these is in the same subdivision, right? And probably most of them besides this 1984 one. You got 04, 03 bills, right? So I can look at the comps from number 1 to number 7, excluding number 4, to kind of get an idea of value with a heavy focus on the same street. Okay? We follow? All right, so cool. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm seeing some Aprils and all that. I wanna get rid of all that, and I really just wanna see what's going on from October to now. If it's not enough that I see from October, I'll go back a couple extra months just to kind of see, you know, what was going on with the market, and we'll curve the value based upon that information. All right, so since October, we got this one right here on Bobcat that sold for $350, October 2022. 31 days on market, pretty good, that's very good. 2004 build, okay. We already know this Misty Run is an 84, we can't use that. This next one is the 2004 build, 0.18 miles away, very close. Whenever you got a 0.0 or 0.1 anything, then that's very good for comparables because it's super close to the property. 4-bed, 2.5, same square footage, similar year built. This is in the same neighborhood, 58 days on market. And this rented out for 1950. So let's keep this 1950 comp. Keep this and hold this to the side. We're gonna need this for what the rents will be. If we come down, I'm looking for more rental amounts. You got a 2200 right here for a 3.2 2004 build, and this is 0.46 miles away. So this is probably not in the same subdivision, right? So we got 1950 in the same subdivision, most definitely. Now, how can we confirm that? Let's see, it's Spotted Owl and Coyote Ridge. I'm gonna come out to the map, and I'm really just trying to see, like, are these streets in the same? I want to see if Spotted Oak is still in the same subdivision. But if you look right here, you got Bobcat, make a right. You got Coyote Ridge, street ends, which tells me this is in the same subdivision, right? This looks like the entrance to the subdivision right off Timberland Boulevard. Right, so I'm just trying to see what's going on in there. And then I'm gonna come out and I wanna see what over here is for rent. We got that 1950 already. I just wanna see if there's anything higher for rent. Click on that again. All right, great. Now, they paid retail price for the property. Right? When I look at the comparables, I see 350 on the same street. They paid 335. This estimate is 340. That tells me that this is a retail price on that property at 335, 340, right? Which means that whatever we do, we can't be all in over that price, right? So that alone makes it tight. But the fact that it was rehab tells me, the fact that it was retail price tells me that there's probably no rehab to be done on this house. When we talking about budget-wise, right? They've been living there for 90 days. I don't see what you're gonna do in 90 days to mess up the house. So when we come to the generator and we come to the rehab tiers, I'm gonna keep it at tier 1. I'm gonna make an adjustment on this as well. I'm gonna put a tier 0, basically, where it's like there's no rehab necessary. But I'm gonna use tier 1 just for the sake of this example. Remember that we don't have to use this 35,000 in our offer because it don't need 35K worth of work on a retail house that just sold. You see what I'm saying? I wanted to come here to Zillow. And you 2735 now, 21 days on market. Jesus. 35 for rent. That's crazy.
The house must got a pool in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see. So I'm zooming out a little bit just because I want to see the whole neighborhood rents, right? And in the neighborhood per se, in particularly, what I'm seeing right now is this. I'm just looking at the map. I'm focusing on this little area right here. I'm not really going past this. I might peek at this right here just to see, but I'm not going on the other side of Timberland Boulevard. I'm staying on this side. So you got a 2K.
2,600.
2,600. And 2,600 right there, right next to our property. So 2,550 is advertised for. Let's scroll down, and I just want to see the quality property. I mean, it looked very basic. 50, but I mean, hey, we in 2023. It just listed today. All right, so 1950, in my opinion, for a rental comp. Then you got a 1995 listed right here as well. So basically 2K by, who is this? Marina. All right. 3-bed, 2-bed. Picture. The mindset of stainless steel appliances on this deal? That's a question, Charles.
Yeah, they have stainless. The countertops are a little old, but everything else looks really good. Floors, all that kind of stuff. Looks
Would you say it's probably original to the house build?
probably.
So these cabinets are 2004 style cabinets because this is 2004 year build. These definitely ain't new. And it's advertised for $2K a month at a 3.2. We got to remember what our square feet is, 22 square feet. So when I this is 24 comparable as far as like rental wise, but it's been listed for 60 days. This is one thing you got to take into consideration when you're doing your numbers and you're trying to figure out what the rents are. The longer the house has been, the more that price doesn't apply to the description, isn't available yet. And sometimes it might say something like coming soon, but they list it before it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense it being up for 60 days, right? But based off what I'm seeing here, saying that is ready, right? Now, first key listed is for $22.95. They listed it for rent. They started there. It looks like they took $22.45 on 11/30/21. So it looks like they rented it out before for $22.45 to the last person because they didn't list it again for exactly 1 year later. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So $22.45 looked like a safe bet for a price. Probably out at, and you got that 1950 that actually was there. Just doing some guesswork. It's $2,100 for the rent. See what I'm saying? And they're gonna call it rent. But you want to be somewhere in between the low and the high, and you want to stay there. Now we put $2,100 here. Now in Texas, hedge funds have the highest gross requirement for multiple reasons. Property taxes being the main one, right? The numbers is kind of weird in Texas based off the property taxes. So I would go 8 points. I would not go 8% on this. I honestly, I would go in Fort Worth 9%. So 9%. The hedge fund max all in 2,100 rent is going to be 2.8. Remember, it don't work. You can maybe assume minus that 280 down to 2. So your max offer is going to be $255,000. So I'm saying that's on the cash offer. funny thing about this particular deal. They bought it at retail, so they're going to lose regardless. And based upon their level of innovation, they're going to have to take a lot less. Now, are they willing to bring $85K to the table? That's the question. You see what I'm saying? Or are they really like, I don't know how much cash they put down. Are they really willing to walk away with that much of an L in profit on this particular deal? But if I'm saying 255 on the acquisition, which means that you can sell it for 275, that 275 is a nice amount up underneath the retail amount for this particular house. If this was a hedge fund, if this was a local person offering you on this deal to buy this from you, you'd be looking at 220 on the acquisition price, 235 on the dispo.
And if it's a creative deal, you can give them exactly what you want. But they got to bow down to the terms.
They got to bow down to the terms. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing here. Like, they're at retail, so it really ain't much that they can. I mean, they're taking less. Don't get me wrong, but in Texas, I'm not even gonna get your emotions all riled up. In Texas, you ain't moving nothing at an 8% gross yield. Not now. 8% was like the max before interest rates started going up. I mean, it was one of the minimums before interest rates started going up in Texas. But right now, hedge funds out there, I got one in particular right now. I think that they are paying. Let me see. I got a hedge. This works perfectly for. Matter of fact, this is actually even better. Let's not guess on the gross yield. I got a hedge fund that will buy the deal. I'm gonna give you the exact gross yield, and let's see exactly what they will pay. It meets the school scores. It meets every box that it needs to meet. I'm gonna look at the hedge fund buy box right now, and let's see. So I think that we can sell non-residential. That's one of the hedge funds that we got. And they just updated their buy box December 19th, 2022. Right, so this is a fresh buy box for this year. In Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, their max purchase price is $334,000. Their gross yield is 8.5%. All right, so let's go back to the calculator. And let's put in 8.5% as a gross yield. All right. So that brings you up 288 hedge fund all in max. Let's say you really need only 5K to get right. That brings you down to 283. I'm just subtracting because we don't need to use this 30 something, right? 283 minus, let's say you want to make 20 grand, bring it down to 263 and that 255. Let's say that you're cool with making 10 instead of 20. Then you can start to play with that 263, bring it up 273. I would go 270 personally. If you still want to leave a little room, maybe 30K for closing cost fees like that, right? So that you can walk away with 5 figures. I would say your max offer on this right here, if we had 288 at an 8.75, using $2,100 a month in the rent, your max offer on this is going to be 270 seller. Your dispo price max 283 on this particular house, if it only needs 5K. Yep. So at 335 minus 270, we got $65,000 L on that signature.
And they know they're gonna take a haircut regardless. It's just, you know, I have a meeting with the wife and the husband on Wednesday, just to again go over basically because I gotta renegotiate, and if they're willing,
Charles,
you know,
what do they need the money for?
because they're trying to use that money to buy a new home moving back to Colorado.
So there's no real way other than terms that they can sell this to get to their end goal. So they can just like, you know what I mean? Like when you talk to them, you're gonna have to just be upfront. Like, listen, if you sell it through a real estate agent, if you sell it to me, like either way, you guys are gonna have to bring money to the closing table. So that goal or that dream you have is just not gonna work unless we do creative. But then even if you do creative, I still have to change your ideology because nobody's bringing down 100K or whatever, something crazy, whatever it is that you want. It's just Not gonna work. And what's their interest rate on the mortgage?
This is it. They own this outright. They paid that $335 cash.
Oh no, they gotta get it. Oh man, you live that. I gotta take that. I gotta take that haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Okay. So they pay cash. Does not change the game in terms?
Yeah.
What you think?
Yeah. No, it changes it.
It changes it, right? So all right. Here go your options. I'm gonna give you the terms. These are terms that you're gonna give them. Option 1, cash offer. $260. Option 2, terms. Eddie, on this deal, how much you think we can get down from a sub-2 buyer on this right here? At a value of $340?
So right now, a creative buyer, sub-2 buyer, anything easily at 10% of the ARV. Now, the lower you can sell it, our ARV is worth 100, but the seller's like, yo, just give me 260. That lower the spread is, the more they're willing to pay on the percentage. But a good deal, 10%.
More equity you saying, right?
Yep, the more equity in there. Yep. So 10% entry fee is what they're looking for. And you want to make sure that your assignment is also included in that 10%.
So if we say that the house is worth, it's technically worth anywhere from $350, right? So let's just say the house is worth $350. Okay, a sub-2 buyer is willing to put down.
Yep.
This particular.
Yep.
Right. Now, moms is just like, how much do y'all really need? I don't want 100K down.
Right.
But I really you know what I'm saying? And really, I would say I can really only get you 15.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then we start getting into what we want on monthly payment. Well, we decided that this property can rent for $1,950 to $2,200, just depending on. So I would say, could I give you $1,000 a month for 360 months? You know what I'm saying? Give me 30.
And it's gotta be 300 months. Like you can't do it short below.
Yeah.
The deal will blow up.
It's not enough equity. It ain't even enough equity to refi. Because they're only gonna refi 80% when it comes to the bank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you give me enough time, and that's max. Like the more favorable is 75%. 80 if your profile is just sweet. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely say $1,000 a month for 360 months will make payments to you with no prepayment penalty. Right? Throw that in there just in case the market shoot up and we want to cash out. We can do that with no penalty to us. Option number 2. Option number 3, which is probably the one they're gonna go with. I'm gonna give you a 3 and a 3A. Right? I use this strategy. I'm gonna start with 3A first. You can tell I can't pay 3. The best I can pay you on this deal is 2 cash for me. But what I can do is, if you're open to it, I can run the deal past my corporate buyers, my corporate clients, excuse me, not my buyers. I can run this past my corporate clients, and I can see if any of my corporate clients will be willing to give you a higher cash offer than I would be willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
This does 2 things. You're already under contract, so you have equitable interest to do it, right? But this does, number 1, when you market it, you're not going to market it in a 300 laugh at you. You're gonna. We did the formula. We know the numbers. You got to have a 2 in front of it for them to even take you serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have a 2 in front of it. But what this does is, when you explain selling it to my corporate, this is, oh my God, this is really gem game I'm getting right now, for real. When you explain to them that I want to give this to buyers, you have to explain to them, my corporate clients, excuse me. You have to explain to them who are your corporate clients. So my corporate clients are hedge funds, and these hedge funds, they normally pay way more than a local person like myself would, because they're backed by Wall Street and they have millions and millions of dollars to spend on assets, and they normally need a lower percentage return on the money than I do.
Yep.
This is setting the stage. Let me explain why. Because we already know what the hedge fund gonna pay based off the formula, right? So when we come back and we tell them our corporate clients are offering this, it's like, damn, even they are. Look, I'm so surprised. I use this all the time. Look, I'm shocked. I really tried to get you more for real, but I mean, the hedge funds, if they're paying this, then this is really telling you something. They pay because cash buyers, they're the highest paying cash buyers in the marketplace. So if they're only willing to give you this, the market is telling you something. When it comes to right? So when they ask you, well, how are you going to get paid? When I bring the deal to my hedge fund client, they give you a key for you. When the hedge fund come back and say that they'll pay 280, 275, or whatever it is that they end up saying, you go back to them and say, hey, I'm going to 260, my hedge fund to pay 260. So now you're going to pay a little 10, 11, maybe 8, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool if you only make 8 to 12 because you would have had made nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless, right? So this is one of those deals that would be a throwaway if you didn't take this approach and was able to squeeze out, you know. So that's why I said in the stage, that's option 3A. 3B is saying, hey, oh, y'all don't want to lose from me, but we got program, right? And what's the retail buyer profit program? Well, this is basically where we'll take the property. Me and you will have a conversation about your bottom line number that you want to walk away with, and then I will take this property and I will market it to my connection, my real estate agents I'm connected to. We'll see if they have a buyer that is purchasing this house directly from you. Right now, how you get paid, because they always want to know how you gonna make money. Basically, how I get paid is you're gonna tell me what your bottom line number is, and I'm gonna put a fee on top of it, and the buyer is going to pay me my fee. You see what I'm saying? Basically, you getting a spread between the contract, but when you say my buyer is gonna pay my fee, it's not better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
That's a gem.
Exactly. If they agree to that, I'll show you how to set the paperwork up for it. Because you're gonna have to do an attorney in fact, and you're gonna have to do a notice of interest. Those are only 2 pieces of paper you need to secure your profit, and that's so that's four options on the offer. A motivated seller, and I would probably take, instead of the cash offer 260, I would say 250 just to create a big enough wow factor between what you would offer and what the hedge fund would offer.
Can't thank you enough, my brother. Cannot thank you enough, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt, for sure. No problem at all. Let me know if you got any questions about it. You already know to shoot me a message. Hit us up in the group, and let us know how it go when you talk to them on Wednesday. And then, whichever one they want to take, we'll structure something around it. But honestly, Eddie, unless I'm missing something, those are 4 options that you can get.
No, those are the only 4 options.
That's it.
or it's 5. Just sit tight. Stay in the house. Don't go nowhere.
I like that too. You should add a 5th one on there.
Yeah.
Just be like, your last option is just to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and maybe try to rent it out. But if you're gonna rent it out, you might as well give me terms.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I can't thank you enough. Appreciate it so much, man. Appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Great breakdown, man. Great breakdown.
All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. We done been rocking for a minute. Any other questions before we go, team? Ashley and Sage, you got any questions before we go?
Got that knowledge today.
Yeah, it was really good.
Boom. Locked in, ready to go. And remember, Friday we'll be back with results. If you are jumping in, tuning in, et cetera, don't get left behind. K-Dot put out a post last week. As soon as he dropped, I was like, yo, you got to send me that. Right? Like, and his main thing he talked about was position. Are you in position? It's a scary time out here in this world if you don't know how to be positioned to win. And understand this, there's always ways to make money. I don't care if the market is up, the market is down, there's always a way to make money. You just need to make sure in the right position to be able to receive what is coming regardless. And with what we got going on here, with being able to position ourselves to make this money from Wall Street. The sky is literally the limit. Literally, the sky's the limit. So, with that being said, Kate, you got anything else you want to add before you dip?
No, man, that's it, man. Just y'all stay tuned. We got a live event coming up here down in Atlanta towards the end of the month. We're gonna have some details coming for y'all within the next day or two.
Yeah.
So y'all just keep an eye out for that. That's gonna be fire. And just stay tapped in, man. If y'all haven't been to one of our master classes, we got the Wholesale Hedge Funds master class tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're on Instagram, hit the link in my bio, register for that. Or if you're not, you can go to wholesaling, the number 2, hedgefunds.com, and you can register for the webinar right there. Telling y'all don't want to miss it. It's going to be beautiful.
Lit. All right. Well, with that being said, have a good night, everybody. Peace.